back to Rides and Drives Team Radio. I am Kaz. I'm here with Harvey, and we just watched qualifying for the Java House Grand Prix of Arlington. And once again, a lot of answers, but more questions.
Yeah, many questions. Lots of what's up with. We have some tire questions going into tomorrow. So let's get started and get right into what we thought about qualifying. Kaz, what was your big takeaway?
There are a lot of really great moments in that qualifying session, but I'm really happy for Marcus Ericsson, who just took his first career IndyCar pole. It's his first pole position in any racing series since 2013, right?
I think that's it. Yeah.
Before
he
Formula
obviously
One,
didn't get any when he was with Sauber.
Yeah, drive the Sauber to pole position. I don't think so. Everybody else would have to crash. But I'm really excited for him, and I think that's something that specifically. I think we're looking at there are a couple of things going on with Marcus Ericsson right now. First of all, he's in a contract year. And historically, Marcus Ericsson has driven well in a contract year. That's important to note. But a lot of the conversation that he has had with media has been focused on his growth from the way he struggled last season. How toward the end of last season, he felt himself kind of spiraling, getting into this place where he didn't understand why he wasn't driving to his expectations. And it was frustrating him as a person and as a driver. And he feels now that he's grown through that and is maybe a stronger Marcus Ericsson than he was before. We've seen good performances from him so far this season, and now for him to come take pole on this new track with this new qualifying format, it kind of supports that. And just as a personal note, I love a man in athletics talking about mental health. I think that's fantastic. Let's support it.
Yeah, absolutely. The other thing I think when you talk about Ericsson is it's also indicative of what's happening in Andretti, right?
Yeah.
We had said at the beginning of the season that Andretti was talking about being the biggest threat to the Chip Ganassi cars. And this weekend, it really feels like that. I mean, the Penske cars were strong until they had bad luck.
Some issues. We'll get to Penske.
Yeah, we'll get to them. But the Andretti cars all were strong in this qualifying.
This was the Andretti we were promised preseason. We're almost there. Couple more pieces put together, and we can truly challenge Chip Ganassi. And I'm starting to believe it. It's been one weekend. They have to race, and then they have to carry it through beyond that. But I'm starting to see where that confidence is coming from. I'm thrilled because I was feeling a little butthurt about this. Where's this Andretti you've been talking about? And here they are. This is great to see.
Yep. So Ericsson's going to start on pole. Alex will start second, which he was very happy about in the post-race press conference. That feels like a good place for him.
I think when talking about Alex, it's really important to remember that he very often wins the race toward the end by managing his tires a little bit better, by making the right decisions at the right time. Alex doesn't always qualify on pole and then run away with the race. So for him, starting on the front row, he's happy. Why wouldn't you be? Yeah,
I think the stat, there was a stat during the broadcast that Alex, doesn't start from the pole except for maybe 12% of the time, but he wins 25% of his races or something like that. So
yeah, I don't remember the numbers, but there was a dramatic jump. Not starting from pole for Alex is not a big deal. He's a threat as long as he's in the top 10, as far as I'm concerned. And he's still a threat from back. He's, just has to work a little harder. So Alex, great.
Speaking of a threat from back, the sort of surprise of the qualifying was McLaughlin biffing it.
God, and a near identical wreck, different corner, but near identical wreck to Joseph in practice earlier in the day. And Malukas also almost had the same Like he was very
Yeah.
close to bobbling it exactly the same way. And I just kind of thought that that was funny that Penske almost lost three cars to the same type of accident all in one day. Yes, what a shame. The deal is though, it's Scott McLaughlin starting in the back. He's going to put on a show. My husband is a huge Scott McLaughlin fan. He's by far his favorite driver. And he was so bummed when he saw it. And so was I. But what I told him is, you're just going to see Scott more now.
Yeah. He's going to
He's
pass
he's going to put on a show.
24 cars. Well, he's going to pass more than that because of pits and all that
Yeah.
stuff. He is going to be an animal, I'm sure. And that's
He
one of
looked
the
so strong in practice. I have zero, and him saying that this is his favorite street circuit he's ever driven.
yeah.
Man, that guy's driven, and not just within the US, not just within IndyCar. He's got a history of racing in Australia, and I got to tell you, like, there's some gorgeous, gorgeous scenery and streets. Surfers
Yeah.
Paradise is incredible. So for him to say that, that's huge.
Yeah, I think he's going to put on a real show for us. I think the Penske cars were all strong.
Mhm.
So the
Newgarden, we can't like he was driving
yeah,
together. He was driving a Franken car. He made the Fast 12. That's great. It'll look better by tomorrow. I,
yeah, we
I'm not worried about him.
and Malukas made the fast 12.
Yeah,
So those guys are fine. The thing that's interesting with this track, and we talked about this in the pre weekend podcast. There are plenty of places to pass on this track. It's
there
not
are.
like St. Pete where you had maybe two. There are four, maybe five, because that horseshoe, we saw some passing in practice on the horseshoe. And while, so they're going to pass going into turn four, they're going to pass going into turn 10 at the end of the straight, turn 12, and then again turn 14 before turning onto the front straight. There's a
I think
lot of
it's
passing areas.
I think it's important too to keep in mind that we've got a it was Joseph Newgarden who said this last week after in the press conference after his win. The reason the High Line was open is because we've got a lot of guys who are willing to risk it by throwing it up on the High Line on a regular basis. We have a lot of drivers right now who are willing to make unorthodox passes.
Yeah.
I've seen some weird stuff already this season, and we've only had two races. So I agree with you. I think four is the baseline for passing opportunities we're going to see. But I think a couple of drivers are going to surprise us with some beautiful moves that we don't really expect.
I think the other thing we have to note about qualifying
Mm,
is the performance of the two teams that are generally not considered top teams that we highlighted before. The Meyer Shank cars, which both made the Fast Six.
yay.
Congratulations.
Very happy for both those
And
drivers.
ECR, which both made the Fast 12.
Yep.
So,
On a circuit that they performed pretty poorly in St. Pete. Let's call a spade a spade. So
right.
for them to come back on a similar track type and do
And
so much better than they did.
the thing that was interesting in qualifying, they used both of their new tire sets in the opening round in the first round of qualifying. So they didn't have new tires in the Fast 12.
Hmm.
So them not getting into the Fast Six was not that surprising
No, certainly not.
given that disadvantage. But I think they wanted to make the Fast 12 for their sponsors. I think that was a big deal. And so throwing that second set of new tires at it was important.
Making sure those Java House cars caught the camera as much as possible at the Java House Grand Prix makes perfect sense.
Yeah. So that was my highlights from the qualifying. Anything else that we missed?
I got one more.
Yeah.
All right. It's been a few weeks. I think it's time for us to ask, what's up, Scott Dixon? What's going on?
That's a good question. And it's not just Scott, it's Kiffin.
Yeah, let's go further. Let's not just what's up, Scott Dixon. What's up, Chip Ganassi? You are meant to be the class. I don't Alex is always going to be Alex, but without him, we wouldn't have had a Ganassi driver in the Fast 12. That's unheard of.
Yeah. I I'm surprised And I know that Scott had that incident in practice too, and but it wasn't that bad. It didn't hurt his car. Um, maybe he just never got comfortable on the track. The car obviously was loose in that one incident. Maybe those cars are set up a little loose and he's just not comfortable with it, and Alex is. I'm not sure.
It's not just this one session, right? He didn't complete the race at St. Petersburg, Scott Dixon. He, qualified fairly mid pack in Phoenix and moved up 7 places. That's fine. That's not a Scott Dixon performance, though, and it's not a Chip Ganassi performance. And I have all the respect in the world for that guy. And that's why I waited 3 weeks before asking. But he really doesn't feel like he's driving like Scott Dixon right now. And I want to know what's going on.
Yeah, let's see what happens in the race tomorrow because he's got a
Mhm.
lot of work to do
Yeah.
and monitor this situation going forward because it feels like those two cars, both Scott and Kiffin Simpson, are underperforming given how well Alex is doing. And yeah, Alex is the class of IndyCar, but you need your teammates to perform.
Yeah, you don't want to wind up in a Formula One Red Bull situation, where you've just got the one car. I know there's no team championship in that same way, but the
You know
way
what?
people,
I
the
think
way
we
people
should
and
do
sponsors interact with
I
you.
I think we should do the Rides and Drives Team Radio Team Championship competition. And it's just the top 2 point scores every weekend from each driver. You take those points and add them up.
I don't
And
like
we
that. I have an edit.
okay.
It's average points per car because your poor performances should be the teams with 3 cars should not get a pass on an error because they're
Oh,
able to afford 3. It's average
okay.
points per car. But
Let's do
yes,
it.
I like the concept.
Okay.
Let's report on this moving forward, guys.
We we will
Starting
we
after the race.
we will start this at our post-race podcast tomorrow. And this will be a feature going forward, which is the Rides and Drives IndyCar team standings.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's see
Love
where
it.
we are. I think with this season is a really interesting time to look at that. We're seeing a team that has been on top of their shit. You could beep that out. For years, kind of underperform, and it feels a little bit like maybe they're comfortable relying on Alex bringing home these results, and that's not
Right.
ideally where they want to be. And then we're seeing Andretti grow in this really cool way, and we're seeing Penske return to form. This is a
And we're
good
seeing
season to track
Arrow
that.
McLaren kind of
Yeah. What are they
meh.
doing? Pato looked
Pato,
great
fine.
for a bit, but again,
Where's
does he
Nolan Siegel?
where's Nolan Siegel? Where's Christian Lundgaard?
Yeah.
And the
What's
boss was there this weekend. You should be trying to impress him. He took a week off from his beloved Lando Norris to visit IndyCar. He didn't even come to the 500 last year.
right?
I don't know, man. You gotta figure something out, McLaren. It's not inspiring.
So the other thing we need to talk about qualifying is the format
Yeah.
from this weekend. They changed it up. We talked about this. Now instead of doing the open session for the Fast Six, they did a one lap shootout. What do you think?
I have mixed feelings. I I enjoy the way it watches.
Yeah,
It
I
was
think it's a
really
much
exciting.
better. I think it's much better television,
Yes.
and it's a much more dramatic
Yep.
way
And
to
and
do
I like
qualifying.
that we get to watch the onboard of each lap, that we get to see all of the cars and take an individual moment with each of these 6 drivers. But we saw today, and maybe this is just today, all tracks are different. We saw today, and I think based on the way they talked about it in the post qualifier press conference, I believe that the drivers would agree that going first was a huge advantage. I mean,
Yeah,
ultimately, Pato started a good 10 minutes later than Marcus did. That's a lot of time for those tires to cool down. And in a situation where 1 degree makes a huge difference, that's just a massive disadvantage. When you put in the fastest time to be rewarded with a disadvantaged spot is a little confusing, I guess.
Yeah,
I hope it's possible that this won't hold up this way in the future. And if it doesn't, that's great. But I don't love I
well,
don't. Maybe giving each car a full warm up lap
yeah,
might be the better solution.
I
I
think
think
that
it's
would be the
workable.
fix.
We just need to address this.
I like this format better. Personally, I like it better from a fan perspective. I like it better from a driver perspective because it puts the pressure on. And Marcus Ericsson talked about this in the post qualifying press conference. He said it felt like in the pressure we feel at the 500, and I thrive under that. And the
He
best
did say
drivers
that.
do.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
I really like that part about this format, but I think you're right. They either should A, give them a full warm up lap, or B, give everyone who makes the Fast Six a
A
new
fresh
set
set of
of
tires
soft
that you
tires
have to use.
that you have to use.
That would be acceptable to me as well. Yeah, I agree with you about everything that you said about the benefits of it. I liked it in general. I think it's a good idea, but I don't think it's perfect as is.
Right.
We have been riding Fox pretty hard
Yeah.
the last 2 weeks. So because they are apparently quite involved and this shift was something that they wanted. I want to put some good faith in with Fox and say, "Hey guys, good call. This worked.
Yeah.
More of this kind of stuff. Thank you.
This is a
Fix the
better
broadcast."
idea. They just need to improve the execution
Yeah.
of it. The question is, I mean, you've got a track like this where it's a 2 and whatever mile track and the lap is a minute 20 seconds.
Can you
Now,
give a
or
full
whatever,
warm
a
up
minute,
lap?
you go to Road America where you've got a 4 mile lap.
Yeah.
How do you do this?
Yeah,
That'll be a
I think
different
maybe the
challenge.
Fast Six all receive you can say that you can't use those tires later in the race. You just get one. These are your Fast Six tires, and you can only use them for this. Pick the compound. You get one more. You can only use it for the Fast Six.
Yeah.
Do
So,
that, and then everybody's on equal footing, and I like that a lot.
yeah.
So
Inter
I think it was really good though.
yeah, I agree. So we finally got to see cars on this track for qualifying and for 2 practice sessions.
Yeah,
So, universally, the drivers love this track.
they
I mean,
seem to adore it.
the one person who initially was negative about it was Mick Schumacher because it wasn't a glass smooth F1 track. But once he got used to it, he was very positive about it. And Ericsson, again in the press conference, said, "This is a proper IndyCar track. It's rough. It's
Hmm.
demands everything of you."
And it's
Uh,
not just drivers having a good weekend. Scott McLaughlin said after the first practice, where it was brilliant, it was his favorite street course he's ever driven. Erickson was profusively excited about it in the press conference, but Scott Dixon talked about it before the race and talked about how much he loved the bumps,
yeah.
about how it felt. He said it's mostly pretty smooth, but that back straight, we're bumping, man. And he had a smile on his face when he was saying it.
Well, it was
I did
interesting.
not expect it was going to be so bumpy.
Yeah, well, it was interesting because between Friday practice and Saturday practice, IndyCar went out and smoothed out a few of those bumps. My guess is they smoothed out the bump going into turn 4, which
Hmm.
caused Stingray Robb to lose control and wreck his car. That was a really poorly placed bump, and probably the one that Louis Foster
On the
lost.
back straight, or was it the front straight,
The
I
front
believe,
straight. Yeah, he
where
was
he went full
offline.
airborne.
Yeah, in the middle of the track, which
All of a sudden, we're
will
like dirt bike
happen
racing.
after the start finish, where you have all those cars coming all at once. You're going to have people in different positions. They're not
Yeah.
all always going to be on the racing line.
Yeah, we
So,
can't have them flying when they're all bunched up around the start finish. That's a very bad idea.
no,
Um,
I'm looking forward to the race tomorrow to see how it all plays out, but in general, this has already been a success.
Yeah, I agree.
This is a great event. I hate Jerry Jones. I hate the Dallas Cowboys. Being a Packer fan and all that, I
I was gonna
hate
say,
giving
spoken
him
like a true
props.
Packer fan.
I hate giving him props, but damn, nice job, Jerry, and the team at IndyCar and everyone else for putting this together. You designed a nice track. The venue looks very fan friendly. The whole weekend feels like it's been a big party, and I'm excited for the way this has come off, and hopefully the ratings
Yeah.
continue.
The vibes look really cool. Ratings for Phoenix TV wise were very high.
Yeah,
I'm
shocking.
bummed people didn't see some of the excitement, but I can't harp on Fox too much.
Let's
Like, come
stop.
on, I maybe they'll fix it. Um,
Maybe they heard us
yeah,
last
maybe
week.
they
Yeah.
did. But the vibes look cool. I'm hoping the ratings will be high. I want to say, speaking about the track specifically, I talked about the pit entry and exit on Wednesday, Thursday when we recorded and published, but I'd seen overheads, but you don't really know what it's going to look like until you see guys coming in and out. And that pit exit is,
Super cool.
oh my God.
It is going to create moments of excitement during the race.
Yep. When you've got cars
When you've
flying
got cars
on.
coming through turn two on the track and people coming out of the pits, it's
Mhm.
wide enough, but it's going to be interesting.
It's going
So
to require awareness from both drivers.
yeah,
There are going to be some really intense moments at that pit exit, and I'd seen the overheads, I'd conceptualized it, but actually looking at it was something else altogether. I think I just started cackling when I saw it. It's going to be so cool.
yeah. So I think between that we saw tons of opportunities for passing in practice, and I think we're going to see a lot of passes during the race. It was funny the other day on social media. I did a post about after the F1 race when everyone was talking about how in Australia there were so many passes,
Like
and
five on the opening lap, right?
and so I put a thing about, oh, if you like passing, you should watch IndyCar because blah blah blah, and I put the Phoenix stats up because, and everyone was like, oh, ovals, anyone could drive an oval and all this other stuff, and my comment was, well, tell that to Fernando Alonso.
That's such an ice cold comeback. Congratulations. I love
And
that.
and Fernando did great
Yeah, I love
His
Fernando.
first 500.
But the deal is, if it's so easy to drive, then your Formula One champion should be able to win handily.
Yeah. So anyway, but it was so interesting to and we do compare to Formula One because you have to a little bit. But the idea is if you really like racing, if you like wheel to wheel action, if what you want to see is two drivers challenging each other and who's
Mm.
got the stones to break the latest and all that stuff. IndyCar has that on every lap, right?
Yeah,
And
up and
and
down the field, not
up and
just,
yeah. So it's for me I watch F1. I love F1. I watched every episode of Drive to Survive. It's not that I don't like it. It's just that if you gave me passes to the Las Vegas Grand Prix or the Java House Grand Prix of Arlington, I'm going to Arlington.
I take Arlington also. Um,
Partly,
I Yeah, I agree. I'm wearing a Max Verstappen sweatshirt right now, so I'm a big F1 fan. I I don't even look at it like which one is whatever. If you're a fan of one, you should be a fan of both.
right.
There is so much to offer Formula One fans in IndyCar, and I think that this race in particular would probably be quite appealing to Formula One fans. It's a really nice looking street circuit. It's something that's very accessible and similar, but the differences between Formula One and IndyCar are also highlighted. The bumpy track surface, that IndyCar is more bump and grind.
Yeah.
It's a little less delicate than Formula One is, and I like that about it. And I think that this race is going to express that really clearly. Something else about this race that's going to be accessible to F1 fans, since, let's keep framing it this way if this is
Right.
something that's working for us, is tire strategy is going to be really important here. I think in a way that uh, IndyCar races sometimes feature, pit strategy when you come in is always vital, but what tire you run at what time, sometimes you can make up for that in different ways in IndyCar, but I'm not sure that's going to be the case this week.
No, this will be interesting because they all talked about how the alternate tires have a cliff,
Mm,
and
a
it's
sharp one.
a sharp one, and it happens quickly. This is the same compound alternate tire they ran in St. Pete, but something about this track, either the freshness of the pavement, the multiple high-speed deceleration zone, braking
Hmm.
zones, all of that put a lot of stress on the tires. And so these alternate tires, getting the timing on those is going to be critical.
Yeah. I think Alex said when Alex was asked about what he thinks about the two compounds. He talked about St. Petersburg, how these are the exact same tires, how we didn't see as much of a difference between the primaries and alternates as we were really expecting in St. Petersburg. He said this is a totally different situation. Though they're the exact same tires, they feel completely different. He predicts, and this is Alex just like, at the podium coming up with what he thinks based on what he just ran. But hey, if you're going to ask one guy, Alex
Right.
is quite a tire whisperer. He said that he thinks that there's probably somewhere around 5 laps where the alternate is faster than the primary.
Interesting. And this is interesting because at St. Pete, after the race, I asked him, I said,
Mm,
I've never seen a driver who can go so fast yet leave himself so much margin.
yep.
Why did you drive that way? And he said, because I wanted to make the tires last. I could have pushed them harder, but I needed to make them go a certain number of laps. So,
Outside, after he said his 5 lap thing, he also said, I don't know, maybe you could go a full stint. So it is Alex Palou working on tires. He may
well,
have
yeah, I mean,
way more than 5 laps in him.
what's going to happen is he's going to manage the tires early.
Hmm.
He's going to push like crazy when he gets on the primary tires because they will hold up. And then he'll go out for that third stint, depending on, obviously we're depending on yellows and things like that. He'll put those alternates on for the last stint, bring them in slowly, and have enough of them for the last 3 laps.
Yeah. I mean, in an ideal situation, and obviously that's what Alex is going to try and do. And nobody else can manage tires that way. So I think, I think we've got a situation where cautions are going to come into play in a massive way.
Yes.
Making the right decision at the right time, when you can get that cheap pit stop, is going to be super vital here. Um, and some people are just going to get lucky. Some people are going to put on their alternates, and then 3 laps later, there's going to be a caution, and they're going to be able to ditch that bad set, having run the required 2 laps on them before the cliff happens, and get this really great advantage off of it. And I'm excited to see who's going to get lucky this week. My money's on Alex because he always seems to.
Right.
But there are a lot of drivers who could benefit from a little bit of a luck boost.
No, and we will have yellow flags. There will be incidents on this
Yeah, this
track.
is
It's
this
bumpy.
is
Those,
Incident City,
couple
my
of
friend.
people are going to be wanting that corner in turn 10 coming
Mm,
down the back straight. It's going to be fun. So I know I'm going to be tuning in, and I can't wait for the green flag to fly.
yeah.
So speaking of that, I guess it's time for predictions.
Yeah, let's make some wild speculation, see how smart or stupid we look after the race. It is time for us to play Rides and Drives Team Radio Victory Lane. Currently in our family championship, neither of us are doing super great. I've got 2 points and Harvey has none.
0 points. I had points, but then I threw them away with
Yeah,
a
we
crazy
both
ass plot twist.
we both throw away points on plot twists. I think that's the fun of the plot twist. All right, so let's start with the podium. It is my week to pick first.
It's
I'm
your week.
very excited about that. So on step 3 of the podium, I told you before we started recording, I have a notion for the podium, but it's all gonna got like 6 potential options. It's all gonna
Okay.
happen in 1 second. And I feel really good right now about Marcus Armstrong.
Armstrong on the third step.
He's talked about wanting spectacular moments. He has built himself an opportunity here.
Yeah.
Do it,
I
kid.
mean, starting sixth, easy enough to move up 3 places.
Do it, kid.
And
Show us you got it.
Meyer Shank feels like they have something going on this weekend. So,
This is the time. That's what I'm saying.
okay. P3 for me. I'm going to go willpower.
Yeah,
I
you
want to
know.
see Will have a great result. I want, and also my darling wife, your mother, couldn't stop laughing every time the announcers said willpower today. So let's go with willpower uh for the third step of the podium.
That's a I'm gonna give mom some crap about that, but it's totally fair, to be honest. It is like nearly a Simpsons joke of a name.
Yes.
It makes me love him all the more. Um, man, I want to put Will on my podium, but I'm gonna take Marcus Ericsson in second.
Oh, that's a good pick, obviously, starting from the podium,
I
from
like
the
him.
pole.
I like him so much, and I like his mentality. So I really hope that he's able to maintain great position in this race.
Okay. Well, because I know he's going to be on the podium and he will not be available for first.
You're using the strategy. It's very important.
I'm going to take Alex Palou to finish second.
Oh, what are you thinking I'm thinking, Harvey?
I don't know. I I mean, there are other drivers who can certainly finish first, and who knows what's going to happen on a rough and tumble road street circuit. But
Well, you're right. Anyone can win. And you're also right that I think Alex Palou is going to win this race. He's my prediction. Alex looked so comfortable throughout all of qualifying I mean, he just looked really dialed in.
yeah,
He went very late in the Fast Six and was still able to put together a time that came close enough to Ericsson's. He looked really great. And the other thing with Alex Palou is he's got the best luck in the world, and he crashed last week. It's not going to happen again. He's, you know,
you hope not. Yeah.
I
I
mean,
mean,
maybe,
he certainly looked confident today. Every lap, he was so precise, so close to the wall on every
hmm
track out. You know, he hit every apex. There isn't anybody who drives with his precision, and you know tomorrow he's going to leave himself the margin he needs. So it's just whether or not he gets caught up in
yeah.
something.
Between the precision and the tire management, I think he needs to have bad luck to lose starting from P2. So I don't think that guy gets bad luck 2 weeks in a row. I just don't.
Okay, well, here's my pick.
Mm.
And my pick is going to be interesting because it's going to keep Alex from regaining the championship.
Okay.
Joseph Newgarden is going to win this race
Oh my God, I would be so happy.
from P11.
He could do it. That's super fun. Maybe I'll go put money on that again, so I won't be mad if you get points. And I'd probably win more money this week than I did last week.
Well,
Yeah.
he'll certainly be at higher odds.
I'm we're podcasters, not strict journalists. I'm allowed to be a super biased fan, and I, for some reason, just love that driver. He cracks me up. I really hope he wins.
Yeah,
People would
and
be so mad. The subreddit would go bonkers.
sure. So let's do it. Go, Joseph.
Yeah,
You know,
I'm rooting for it.
let's put the evil empire on the top of the step of the podium one more time.
And he could do it. You know, Joseph has a reputation for being an oval specialist, but that's not all he is, and we know that.
Right.
And as we said earlier, the car he was driving was cobbled together like hours before qualifiers. He definitely underperformed. Scott
Yeah.
looked incredible. If he's driving that setup tomorrow, look out, guys. It's
Yeah.
not going to
He
be
could
very
win
good.
this race from
Yeah,
last.
totally could.
That's the other
Probably
thing
won't,
about
but
this
could.
series that I love is it doesn't matter where you start.
Yeah. Being in the back just means you get to put on a more spectacular show while you come to the front. You know, I last to first is tough. Last to podium is totally believable.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
Great segue into my biggest mover, Scott McLaughlin.
Yeah. If Scott
That's the very
McLaughlin,
obvious pick.
if he's not the biggest mover, it's because he crashed somewhere.
Yeah.
He got taken out of the race. He's going as you said, it's not unbelievable to go from last place to podium. And he, if anyone could do it, he can.
The way he loved the track, the way he obviously looked confident in the setup. Now that he's made that mistake, he's not going to make it again. He knows how to correct for it. He's going to be fine. If you're right, it's if he doesn't finish inside the top 10, it's because he crashed. So,
Okay, so I'm going to pick another driver who we've already talked about, Scott Dixon. I think they're going to figure it out because it's Ganassi, it's Scott Dixon. There's too much experience there. He's starting 20th. If he doesn't finish in the top 10, this is going to be a major disappointment.
yeah, I think that this is an interesting pick. I'm not sure I would have made it because, like I said, enough time has passed that I'm kind of starting to say, like, what's up, guys? If he doesn't move up significantly, I think we're really time to ask what's up, guys. This is put up or shut up time for Scott Dixon.
Sure.
Biggest bust.
Yep.
This, I think, was the hardest category to choose this week, not just because our top, 12 are all really strong drivers, but I hate picking biggest bust because I have too much empathy and I really like all these guys and their story. So I'm actually moving down a little bit. I'm going to take Santino Ferrucci as my
Ah,
biggest bust. And reason being, not that I don't want Santino to have a nice day as well. He's cracked me up many times in the past and he seems like a nice guy, but he put in that brilliant lap.
right.
But
He's starting 12th.
outside, he's starting 12th, and outside of that one brilliant lap, neither him nor AJ Foyt, let's be honest, have really looked like they have it quite together yet. I think he's overqualified where the performance of the car is at this
Yeah.
stage.
I think that's a fair pick from a performance standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at a driver who's ride or die.
Mm.
I'm picking Christian Rasmussen
He's gonna be when I
because
talked
he's
about
either
like
going to win or crash.
when I talked about, Joseph saying that drivers are willing to stick it on that high line and me thinking how that will apply to this race, I was definitely thinking about Christian
Yeah.
Rasmussen.
No, I mean, the only thing I can think, the reason I'm picking him is because he might crash. He
Yeah,
might stick his
he might
nose in wherever.
in a dicey
So,
situation
yeah,
and
I'm
yeah.
not expecting him to have a bad performance, but I'm expecting him to get into trouble.
And I think a little bit of I mean, I'm sure that it's been stressed to him that his sponsor would like their car on television.
Sure.
He knows how to get the cameras on him.
Yeah.
He's done it many times, makes some brilliant overtakes, but sometimes those do lead to some wild incidents, and I think that that's perfectly reasonable. I did think about like, okay, who in this top 10 is most likely to crash, and I did briefly consider Rasmussen, and then I thought like, no, I just don't want it for him, so I'm not going to pick him.
I again, I don't want it for him
I know
either.
none of us do.
And if there were maybe if there were money on this game, I would want it for him. But
Well,
no,
bad news for you. I don't have any.
it's just a fun game. So Okay, what's the plot twist for this weekend? What's the thing that's going to
Yeah.
change the race or change the season?
I think for my plot twist, I am going to say, let's go. Okay. I'm I'm going all in on this what's
All
going on
right.
with Chip Ganassi theory. Alex notwithstanding, because I think we can both agree that Alex is a freak. I'm going to say the other two Ganassi cars finish out of the top 15.
Mm,
Kiffin Simpson and Scott Dixon are going to look a little lost tomorrow, I think. And I'm going to bet 2 points on that.
okay, I've got it noted in my notebook.
But
So we
Alex is not a part of this. That would
right.
be ridiculous.
Okay. I'll give you that the CGR except for Alex is out of the top 15.
2 point gamble. Where are you?
Fair. I am going to say all three Andretti cars finish in the top 10. Or
Oh, I
sorry,
don't.
in the top 5.
Okay. I was going to say top 10. Like, come on. You better be
No.
betting. Yeah. Top five. That's a, you know,
I
your podium is
I
not
know it doesn't have any.
possible if
I
that
know.
happens, by the
That's
way.
all right.
All right, just making sure that.
Doesn't
Oh
need to be doesn't
no,
need to
no, it is. No, it is. I'm sorry. It could be Power Ericsson
power.
Kirkwood.
Yeah,
Yeah, because you have Power on your podium. I'm sorry.
right. So,
Either way, all good.
yeah, I'm gonna all the Andretti cars make the top 5. It's gonna be
I
a banner day for them. And I'm gonna it's a stupid bet, but I'm gonna put 2 on it.
Great, do it. Um, I look. That's a stretch, but it's not wild. Andretti did look great today. They've looked great all weekend. Kirkwood only qualified where he did because of a mental error. And by the way, huge credit to him for just straight up admitting that.
Yeah.
That's
No.
great. He could have said something stupid happened, or he could have done worse and cast the
Yeah.
blame on somebody else on his team. He
He
chose
could have
not to
said
do that.
it would have been really easy for him to say, "Oh, the tires went off on the
Yeah,
third lap."
for sure. He,
Instead, he straight up admitted he forgot the strategy and pushed a lap too soon.
yeah, like a lot of credit to him as a person for that. That's a good person thing to do, to just be
Yeah.
honest about your mistakes.
And
So thanks,
honestly,
Kyle.
starting 7th,
Yeah, he has every chance to move into the top five, and all
right.
the other Andretti drivers have to do is maintain. So that's very reasonable, and especially with Penske, who also they're the other team that looked very solid through practices, incidents notwithstanding. With Penske having some bad luck in qualifiers and starting a little bit further down, that puts Andretti a little bit of a leg up on them.
Yeah. So let's see
Perfect.
how it goes. It's going to be a great race tomorrow. They moved the time up an hour.
I know.
Starts at 12 Eastern, 11 Central. I don't know why they did that.
Wind advisory.
Weather? Oh,
Wind
wind
advisory.
advisory.
Up to 50-mile-per-hour winds.
Yeah, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
So everyone tune in, watch the race, see how smart or dumb we are,
Maybe
and
both.
yeah, maybe both. We'll find out.
Two things can be real.
All right. So for Rides and Drives Team Radio, this is our post-qualifying edition for the Java House Grand Prix at Arlington. We've had a great time talking about our favorite sport. We hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, please hit the subscribe button on whatever platform you listen to us on and shoot us a message on social media. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks everybody for all the support. We look forward to hearing from you, and we're all looking forward to the race. Enjoy it, you guys.
Have a great day and drive safely.